and call our meeting to order tonight. Good to see everyone. Let's all stand as we say the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Lavelle, listen our prayer.
Gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight. We just ask that you put your hands on us as we conduct the business of the schools, and just be with us, guide us, protect us. We thank you for the day. We thank you for all the faculty and the students and the parents and everybody that is involved to make this school system work. We just thank you for all you do for us. Let us use our gifts that you've given us to try to serve on this board and make ethical decisions that you would be proud of, and just go with us as we continue through this night, and bless this meeting and everyone in it. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Go ahead and take a look at the agenda in your folder. We have a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Edwards had the motion. Mr. Lavelle, second. Take a look at it. I want to change one thing to the agenda tonight. I want to move item 7 up to item 6. So the VMS STEM students will just move that up 1 to the item 6 now, and then we'll just item 6 to down to 7. So that's the only amendment to the agenda that I have. Y'all have any discussion on that? If not, all in favor of motion to approve the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. We have any additions to the agenda tonight? No additions? All right, if none, then I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Dr. Berger.
Thank you. So last month we did not have, our teacher of the month was unable to be here, so tonight we're going to recognize 2 teachers of the month. We have from Mumford Elementary, Miss Susan Jackson, who's here with her principal, Dr. Barrett, and then from Tipton High School, we have Miss Mary Hall, who is here with her principal, Miss Carla McLeod. And those 4 ladies will come up. I'm going to read all my papers together. So Miss Susan Jackson is the month of September American Fidelity Teacher of the Month, and then Miss Mary Hall is October. So I'm going to start with Miss Jackson, and this is what her principal said about her as she nominated her for Teacher of the Month. Miss Susan Jackson makes student success a top priority. She consistently has good TGOS growth in reading and math. Miss Jackson is a team player at Mumford Elementary, serving on numerous committees throughout her tenure, including chairing the climate committee for the past several years. Ms. Jackson makes sure everyone in her classroom has everything they need to be successful each day, from knowledge and remediation to snacks and supplies. That's important. She mentors new teachers and collaborates with her colleagues weekly, bringing her wealth of experience to the entire 3rd grade team. Ms. Jackson's creativity and passion for teaching are evident when you visit her classroom. Thank you, Ms. Jackson, for creating a positive environment for our students to thrive. So this is Miss Susan Jackson. And then we have Miss Mary Hall, who is a relatively new teacher to Tipton County Schools, but certainly not a stranger. She is from Covington High School, 2 years of teaching. I am pleased to recommend Mary Hall for the American Fidelity Teacher of the Month. She teaches agri-science, intro to manufacturing, and digital agronomy. She is a vital part of our ag program and always looks for ways to enhance it. One thing that stands out about Ms. Hall is her commitment to her professional development. She regularly seeks out new techniques and approaches to enhance her teaching, often spending weekends and evenings on webinars or at conferences. Ms. Hall recently applied for and won the Grow the Trades grant for her manufacturing class. The grant is geared towards developing trade skills such as manufacturing, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, masonry, landscaping, etc., in the next generation. Ms. Hall was awarded $15,000 for that grant, so we appreciate her. Congratulations to Ms. Hall. Both of these ladies are very well deserving of these awards, and we just appreciate them having them in Tipton County Schools. So thank you very much. And you don't have to say anything unless you want to.
It's good. I will say thank you for all you guys do for us, so it makes a difference.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Beginning at the December board meeting, we're going to start recognizing a student of the month as well, so you can look forward to that starting at the December meeting. Next item on the agenda. During the month of November, the Tennessee Department of Education is celebrating Career Development Month by highlighting CTE and Innovative School Models, ISM, programs that provide every student the necessary skills to pursue post-secondary education and high-skill, high-wage, and in-demand careers. Tonight, we have students from Brighton Middle School. We have the principal from Brighton Middle School, Mr. Alan Lilly, and we have STEM teacher, Ms. Christy Dye-Macklin, with us to demonstrate one of the programs that they use that was purchased with ISM funds. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Willie and his teachers, or his teacher and his students. We have their parents here. Thank you so much, parents. And I'm gonna let them explain what they're going to demo for you tonight.
All right. Well, I appreciate, first of all, everything you guys do, so thank you. So I've got Miss Christy Dye-Macklin here. She wears multiple hats at Brighton Middle. She is one of our STEM teachers, and that's something new this year as far as a class at Brighton Middle School. She's also a college and career readiness teacher, and we run that through our related arts program. And then I've got two of our sixth grade students, and they're also here to talk about the headsets that we have here. Traverse is the program that we're running here. And I'm gonna let Ms. Christie, if you want to talk. And we also use this not just in the STEM class, college career readiness class, but our after-school program, Project Succeed, we run this as well. So if you want to kind of share a little bit about that, and then we'll let Hudson and
Thanks for everything you guys do. We do, I have them on Learning Blade. That's a program that we use as well. They do, they started out car manufacturing, and then after they finish that, I allow them to get on the virtual headset to do oil changing. So that's something that they do, and they're going to demonstrate some things for you.
you guys want to talk about before and then go into the presentation.
We're gonna move the podium. They asked us to do that. So I'm gonna slide it out of the way, so yeah.
And one thing, just before they get into actually seeing the presentation, you know, the ISM grant, that's what we purchased, the funds that purchased this, but once you get into this, I mean, it's mind-blowing, just the capability of the VR headsets. If you've never used a virtual reality headset, you're about to be in for a treat. But these are specific to careers. I mean, you've got everything from automotive to medical. So I mean, I've done. Yeah, I mean, I climbed and changed a transformer on an electric pole on lineman, and I mean, I don't know the exact number, but I mean, there's probably over 100 plus careers.
And we're going to let you guys, the ones who would like to try it, they've already set the boundaries on it and have it set where you can just choose a career.
Yeah, hook them up.
And I think if you ever come by Bright Middle and see it, her classes are actually our library. So as soon as you walk in our school, and the days they use it's comical because you see just kids all over and
I was about to say, I've seen a lot of fails on that, so if Loretta's gonna be doing it, someone have the camera out.
And again, you set the boundaries. And a lot of times we partner with someone to watch out for the person with using the VR set. But how many do we have? 9 or not 9? What are we? 7. So you guys feel free to.
Who's game?
Put them on, yeah.
I'll tell you, this is great. So you have to come to the area.
Right now? Yeah, the area, yeah.
Yeah, grab one.
Because the boundaries are set to the area they're standing.
17. Y'all go ahead.
But,
Let me make a fool out of myself.
all right, so guys, you take the floor and tell them what you need to do.
So they're really cool. So we've got them set. So when you put them on, all you gotta do is you can choose your career. These are pretty self-explanatory. You just like use this button pretty much. You won't use this one. And that's to like look around and stuff. You just turn. You shouldn't have to walk any because then you go out of like your boundary thing. But once you choose your career, it's got like sort of a show. It'll be like changing the oil in a car and stuff. It's got this big thing, and so you can choose a career. And it'll like start you out, and it'll like walk you through the steps to doing the career. It's really cool because like you don't have to go out and like do the careers. You just got it in this one thing right here. You can do hundreds of them in one place.
How much oil have you got on?
Whatever's in here.
If you got a weak stomach, do not, the knee replacement, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do the knee replacement. It does have a main menu button.
So what is on this that we're doing?
You choose, you get to choose. It's gonna give you options. and you put it
Everybody
on.
just step back and watch Dr. Combs. Just
I think I got Billy's, mine has the budget on it.
Yeah, does it turn on when you put it on? Is it already on?
stationary
I'm trying.
Oh,
Trying to do knee replacement. I'm going-
hold on.
Why not be in a-
Hold on. Let me-
Oh wait, try again.
Does she get to pick what she wants to do?
Yeah, you get to choose.
It'd be funner if you let us
Oh,
pick
yeah,
one.
it's
So,
not.
when
You
you
can just choose.
pick
So
the things
those
you
are
want
all
to
like
trigger
the
right
careers
here,
you can choose
and
whatever you
when you
want.
go in to grab different things, you use this
Sixth
button.
grade help me.
So there's a learning curve to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you don't like what you're doing, I'm pretty sure if you
Hold on.
look around, you can.
There's a main
select
menu
them.
button.
Yeah. menu button.
Turn it on.
Leave it.
Clay
got it down pat.
We got two more headsets.
Yeah, there's one in that corner. and
He's
right
gonna
there.
wind up punching a hole in the wall.
Yeah, that's one side, I think, over here.
One right here and one right there.
Just in case if y'all step out your boundaries, it will show you where your boundaries.
Yeah, it'll show you where it is. You can just step it. It's like a blue little circle.
Hey, guys, how do you turn it up?
Oh, wow.
First time dying.
That's a favorite version of the transformer. I got it. That'll work.
We'll see how it goes first. Clay's over there by himself.
He's changing the transformer. It's just that little button.
Damn, we might have it.
Oh, wait.
Let me see. I ain't done with it.
Now you got it? Okay.
I'm gonna do demolish and overpass. You can always, here, look, these things right here, you can, push them in to loosen them and pull them out to tighten it.
Okay.
Oh, now I do.
Gotcha.
Oh, wow.
Big
What
old
are you
bead.
doing, Loretta?
I can, assist in a knee surgery.
What are you doing
That's it.
I'm assisting in a car crash, I'm stabilizing this guy's neck.
That one's fun, I like that one.
And his name is John. Seriously, that's weird.
Okay, how do I?
Oh.
My hands go. Thank you.
Does that feel comfortable? Nope, they're switched, hold on,
Thank you.
there you go.
Okay.
That should be comfortable.
I see you.
I got
Pointing at late crash.
I think I snapped it. Hey, this is awesome.
It's really good.
Oh, demolish and overpass.
This is awesome. You sure y'all wanna try this?
You can just put seed in it.
Just put it on.
She might be out of bounds, though, but once you get
Yeah,
it.
you gotta maybe have it on.
How do you select it?
They worked it out over there.
Next week, they'll be like, man, I remember I used to transform.
How about now?
All right, Blake, what do you?
I'm demolishing an overpass, Alan.
Nice.
I am
nice.
too, Blake.
How you doing?
Are y'all working together or what?
Nope.
Oh,
Alan's in my
wow.
virtual
Oh,
world.
and that-
It's right.
Can you-
Wow.
Let me get my export here.
This is Tipton Prevents money we need to get.
You're good.
Alicia, what are you doing?
That is cool. It's showing personal protection.
That's
What are you
awesome.
doing?
I'm doing, oil change.
Oh, okay.
You got the boundaries.
Okay. I'm scared it may.
Oh,
Hey, what are you doing? You jacking?
Yeah, I'm
Oh, wow.
joking.
He's using the deck.
That's awesome.
Oh, sorry.
Blake's flying the Millennium Falcon over there.
Lowering the crane. I got footing problems.
You gonna ski?
Oh, wow, what about this guy?
He's a random dude.
You see the guy who ran over Tom?
No.
His legs sticking out of there.
Hey, I showed up after the accident. I need to pause it. That's awesome, y'all. Very cool.
And you're more than welcome to be able to come by and check it
I would
out.
definitely not do well
I
in
say
this
the knee
course.
replace, I recommend the knee replacement
We will
and
go
the,
now.
demolishing an overpass.
That is-
Those are two I would recommend.
That's cool. I like it.
You get the job done?
Interesting.
Very cool, y'all. Very cool.
You get to watch the brick blow up.
That's wild.
Is that not cool?
Watch the brick blow up now.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna build up to a car crash. Not sure they want us to do that.
That's gonna be awesome. Definitely a learning curve.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Thank you guys, appreciate it, that is awesome, man. Thank y'all.
That was very cool. I think somebody should make a motion to do this at every. It's pretty neat.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, really appreciate it. Thank y'all for everything. I feel like I'm still wearing, don't you? I feel like I do.
I feel like I'm on that pavement.
All right.
Hey, isn't it like if your brother's here presenting, doesn't the little sister also have to present? Isn't that how they do?
That's really awesome.
Hey, thank y'all for letting me come. That was really cool.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
just hate that you're missing out on the tongue lashing that your granddad would give you if you changed the oil wrong, you know? That's the part that's when it's real, right?
Absolutely. That's right.
No.
Ricky drop.
Thank you guys, thank you, Mr. Willie, thank y'all very much, we appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
I think next up on our agenda is Mr. Robin Racing.
Yes, Ms. Robin, if you wanna come on up. So y'all, I sent you, an email, it's probably about a month ago, right? So, there's a survey that Tipton Prevents, used to be Drug-Free Tipton. Their new name is Tipton Prevents because it encompasses so much more now. And there's a survey that goes out that they use to find out, what are some of the needs for our kids, et cetera, right? But, I wanted y'all to see that. It is a completely voluntary survey for kids to fill out, but still, that's why I sent it to you, so you can kind of see what it was. But I also wanted Ms. Robin, or Ms. Sierra to be here, to explain if y'all had any questions or anything about that survey, before we, put it out there for, folks to, agree to let their children take. Ms. Robin, all you.
I'm happy to be here, and I do want to tell y'all thanks for everything you do. I love this school system. I love working with y'all. It's amazing, and that was a lot of fun to watch right now.
Right?
We are all about, at Tipton Prevents, about increasing the protective factors in our community and decreasing the risk factors, and that is an example of what you guys are doing to make these youth strong, healthy adults. I love that. So, I guess we're gonna talk about the survey. Have y'all had a chance to look at it? Any questions about it? I guess I'll let you ask me the questions. Or do you want me to give you a summary?
I think kind of a little summary and then
Okay,
they
the
have,
reason, gotcha. The reason that we do the survey is, the number one reason is because we need data so that we can write grants and get money to do the work. And if you don't have local data, the odds are lower that you will receive funding. We started out with a $50,000 grant about 10 years ago. And then we coordinated with the University of Memphis to start this survey in the schools. We do it every 2 years. We've grown to, this year our budget is $450,000. And so we have that, we need the data for funding. But also, more importantly, I don't know more importantly, because if you don't have funding, you can't do your work. But it shows us what we need to do in the community, where are our strengths and our weaknesses, and what can we do to increase the protective factors in our community. And it also shows us what we're doing right, and that's a whole lot of fun. When we first started this survey, let me just backtrack a minute. The number one deterrent between a youth and substance misuse is conversations with their parents or their caregiver. The first time we did this survey, we asked, in the past year, has anyone discussed substance misuse with you? And 40% of the kids said yes. So we said, oh wait, if that's the number one deterrent, we've got to address that with the parents, let them know. So over the years, we've come up with campaigns, and we've had great projects with the schools to get the parents involved, and that has increased to over 60% now. So the data showed us a need, we got to work on it, and it's showing us that we're doing better. We're not there yet, but we're doing better. So recently, let's see, 2 years ago, the state took over the survey, so we don't even have to pay for it anymore. We used to contract with University of Memphis. The state does it for free. So it's really our job just to let the school boards know what's going on and to coordinate with the schools to get the surveys completed. And this year, we've always done a passive consent. We would send out a consent form, and if the parent didn't send something back saying they didn't want their students to do it, those students participated. But this year will be our first year we're gonna do active consent. We'll send out consent forms. Oh, it's for 8th, 10th, and 12th graders. We'll send out consent forms, and the parent will sign, yes, my student can participate. And those are the only students that will participate.
How do you think that will affect your response? I mean, how many?
Yeah, I think whenever you do a survey, you have to say, is there a question, could these results be skewed? I'm
Sure.
gonna put that in there and say, this is the first year. I don't know. We'll send it out and see if the parents respond. Now, one thing that we've always done is the state says you need to do, like, in the 8th, 10th, and 12th grade, they have a small number of 8th, 10th, and 12th graders to use, but we always do them all. So I think we'll still have the right number of students, but we may not survey as many as we used to.
This will be the first year to see what that sample size looks like.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
I'm curious too, since Tipton, drug-free Tipton started,
Mhm.
you know, come a long way from the beginning days. So I'm curious, what areas do you feel like we made more strides in a positive way with the program in place? And what kind of do you feel like it's where we need more work?
okay, that's a great question. We made strides because there was just me saying, hear ye, we're trying to do some work. Now we have a staff of 3, and we have strong partnerships. It used to be like, let me tell you about drug-free Tipton, and people would be looking the other way. But now the community, we have members from all sectors. Dr. Combs is on our board. We have other people that have been strong supporters. So we have a stronger coalition than we used to. So, and with the Sheriff's Department, just all the different sectors in the community. So when we bring them together on an ongoing basis, we're able to address issues quicker. And what have we done well, and what do you see that we need to improve upon? Is what we've done well is our substance misuse of our youth has lowered in every category but marijuana. So we've done well in getting the word out, because we don't come at it we're coming at it from prevention, stop it before it starts. So we're showing a lower first use age, we're showing a lower usage rates, we're showing a lower perception of risk and a higher perception of parental risk. So that's all the stuff this survey shows us. So we're doing great in those areas except for marijuana. And it's gone up a little, but it's also our perception of risk has gone down. So we go, uh-oh, there's where our problem is. The parental perception of risk has gone down, and their personal perception of risk has gone down. So now as a community, we know, we gotta work on that. Because, we have a whole environment that's telling them it's okay, it's natural. But we're talking about, to students about their age, prevention. We're not talking to adults telling them what to do.
So marijuana would be, tobacco, we were about to have the first tobacco-free generation till the vape came along. Yeah, so now we're steadily,
What do you attribute the decline on the vape? That's a pretty decent decline of like 5%, I think. 2021, 2023.
well, I think that it wasn't addressed, and we started, when the vape first came out, I don't know for sure, but I know that we put a lot of energies into educating our community, and then when it first came out, they were saying, this is a healthy alternative to smoking, but now we know better. So our message has changed.
I think that was a big part of it. And then you'll see, just like we were engaged in as a board, there were multiple lawsuits filed against this company, and I think that helped taper that off as well. And I'm gonna say this about Miss Robin, cause she won't say it, but, they work really hard. And the staff that they've added, man, they have fingers everywhere reaching out for, to be in the communities and the workforce and the job with the sheriff's department. We have their decals on our buses now that go around Tipton Prevents with different really cool sayings on them. They worked really hard, cause our kids are special, and they're, folks are sucking them in on stuff that they shouldn't be. And I think the biggest thing, you said one of the biggest things you've done is I think you've communicated like crazy. That's been, from that time, it's just been, the word is out there that didn't used to be out there.
Now, our phone's ringing, I'm not chasing people.
That's right.
And
That's right.
It's pretty exciting, but we only have 3 paid employees, but as far as I'm concerned, the whole community, y'all are, the employees, you're just not being paid.
Right.
Cause that's the only way we could do anything in the schools, you're a great partner.
Well, thank you. But our biggest thing was, when this survey was about to come out, that's what I told, I talked to Miss Robin about it, and I said, let's put this before the board first and just make sure there's, nothing. I'm a little biased because I'm on the board of Tipton Prevents. Again, it's voluntary, so it doesn't, it's not a big deal, but I wanted you to be able to hear and be able to ask any questions you want and decide whether or not, we push it out.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially with active consent now, that's helping.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll make it more work on the front end, but I think all parents will feel safer about it.
Any other questions? Comments?
Cause I could
concerns?
talk all night about this if y'all let me.
Well, we do appreciate y'all's
Yeah,
work in
absolutely.
it, because it's so
Absolutely.
important.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate your partnership, 'cause that's what's making it a success.
Ms. Robin, are we
Yes,
still
sir.
using, the program in the middle schools where we had the parents to come in weekly before a student was sent to maybe alternative school?
We piloted that program in the middle schools. And now, we've been said, yes, you can do this, and you have money for it, but we're waiting for the state to send us the money.
I got you.
So I was talking to Dr. Morris today about, at Crestview Middle School, and I told him, let's go ahead, the money's coming.
I got you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking.
Appreciate what you do.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Yes, quick, Bishop.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Miss Robin.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
Ms. Robin, appreciate it. Well, thanks, Ms. Robin and all the teachers, and that's an interesting way to start a meeting, y'all. It's good, I enjoyed it, so that's good, got it loosened up. And next on our, agenda is the consent agenda. Does anybody have anything to pull out there before we vote on that? Nothing to pull out, so if that's the case, then we have a motion to, accept the consent agenda as it is. Mr. Eubanks makes a motion. Mr. Cam's got the second. Any discussion? If not, then all in favor of, passing the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. We'll move on to the financial report for Mr. Daugherty.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all take a look in your finance folder there. There should be at the top a FEMA reimbursement estimate document. If you all see that, if you would open that. When you're all there, let me know. Word?
Now I'm just thinking about this. I know that, if I may, I know that, Vice Chair, Mr. Gray is zooming in, so
Yes.
he's here via Zoom.
Yes.
Because he had a prior engagement he couldn't miss. I wonder if we could do that with virtual reality goggles.
I was thinking the same thing.
I was just thinking that. I don't know why that occurred to me, but he could be like, yeah. I'm just saying.
As long as we can throw just
Alright.
virtual paper,
Yeah.
no speaker, then we're good.
Kevin said it's possible.
All right,
so.
great. Wonderful.
Kevin,
Sitting in a hotel room somewhere, like, yeah, that's right, that's awesome.
We sit in the lobby, we'll just looking
As
good.
long
What
as
do you
we
do?
get the mute button.
That's it.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is the document that was produced back, after the tornadoes in 2023. First presented to this board, I believe, July of 2023. And then, again in September 2023, which these were estimates on the front end. So if you look at this document to the left of that blue bar that goes down the center, these were estimates on what it was gonna cost to get the interim structures. This is not the new buildings, this is everything interim structure, to get going. Now, the FEMA match is 75%, TEMA 12.5%, and Tipton County School was required to do 12.5%. So just to the right of the blue bar, you'll see fiscal year 23-24, the year we just finished. These were the numbers that were presented in that budget. Now we're gonna be asking for the amendments to this budget, the fiscal year 25, to reflect the balance of that, which is that 1978, 7776 number. And as you go down that far right column, you'll see the FEMA match, the TEMA match, it's 1731,429. So that's the money you'll see shortly in a budget amendment that'll be coming in through disaster response revenue. And the hit to our fund balance, our 12.5% obligation, our 12.5% match is 247,347. Now, you'll see that in the next series there where the expenditure code is gonna go out, revenue code for 47,230 and the fund balance number. This small impoverished at the bottom, you can disregard that. We tried to get this claim at the start of our rebuild of the interim structures for a small impoverished community because of the dynamic of the Crestview schools, but we weren't awarded that by FEMA. So all that essentially does is reduce the 12.5% obligation to the 5% obligation you see there, but that did not happen, so we're staying at 12.5%. So with looking at that document, I'll ask you to go back to your board folder. And inside that folder is a budget revision work file, fiscal year 25 for 141. And if you will go to page, there's two things, there's only two amendments that we're asking for so far for the month of November to be presented in December at the county commission. On page 1 of 11, if you'll look at the 44,570, there was a $25,000 gift or a grant contribution from the TVA authority to a teacher at Brighton Elementary School called the Learning Environment Grant. And it was $25,000 in advice supplies, much like what you just saw tonight from the middle schoolers, bought supplies like that, like robots, that type thing. You'll see that money, that $25,000 on page 2 of 11. It goes out in the 7,1100, 722, which is where that equipment is gonna be bought from or assigned to. And so that's that grant. Mr. Chairman, I would request approval from the board to amend the 141 general purpose school fund to reflect the revenue and expenditure of the learning environment grant.
Do we have a motion? Mr. Jenkins, we have a second? Mr. Lavelle, have any discussion on that? Discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed.
And then if you'll look on page 2 at the top, you'll see that revenue, that 1731,429 coming through disaster relief. Remember, there's a $1.9 million number. You're gonna see that difference at the bottom of the page. So if we go from page 2, where the revenue shows in disaster relief, and go all the way to the bottom, page 10 of 11, you'll see the $1.9 million number we talked about earlier going out in the 76,100, 330. That's the lease payments for the interim structures. And you notice that difference between the 1.9 and the 1.7 at the very bottom of the page is a $247,000 reflection to fund balance. Now, we'll probably have to, well, let me just stay on this one, because we'll probably have to finish up if the schools obviously go past into the next school year. We'll have to do this again in the next budget to cover for how many period, however many months we'll stay in the interim structures and then to demolish those structures. If this encapsulates this fiscal year, Mr. Chairman, I request approval from the board to amend the 141 general purpose school fund budget to reflect the disaster response efforts from FEMA, TEMA, and the Tipton County match.
Mr. Daugherty, before get there, make a motion, I'm gonna question as far as the 247, so just to help us understand, we would have to go back in and have fund balance for $247,000, is that correct? And some
That's
change, is that correct? You and I discussed previously of maybe how we can keep that from going to fund balance, can you explain that?
I can, yes. So, this board, shortly after COVID, and when the ESSER funds came in, there were a lot of money being spent, and, we bankroll in the 142 cash flow, basically, those federal projects and grants. So this board and the county commission approved a $4 million transfer from the general purpose school fund balance to the 142 school federal projects fund balance in order to float those expenditures. Well, as you all know, ESSER's coming to end of life this year. We just finished it up. And so we don't really need that much money over there anymore. So one of the ways that we can offset this, that is not an impact, is to transfer $1 million of that $4 that we moved to 142 in 2020, move $1 million back into the 141. And so what that would do, if you all wanna do that, we could update this sheet and it would show, instead of showing a $247,000 hit to fund balance, it would actually show a $752,000 increase to fund balance, which essentially is 141 being moved back in there, but it doesn't go to fund balance. Except for there will be a little bit of a hit to fund balance because we have to reflect the $247,000. So no, that's still there. We're moving $1 million and you see a $752,000 surplus, that still it takes into account that hit to fund balance for the Tipton County's obligation of 12.5%. No getting around that.
And you said, so we go into next year.
Yes, sir, we likely will, but this
So-
is just for this year.
Right, so what do we expect next year?
So I would think that probably by March, April, we're gonna be more in tune with where we think we're gonna be as far as getting into the new buildings. And we'll estimate when we work on the budget in the spring, the budget we submit in May will reflect our estimation of how many months we think we're going to be in the interim structures and what the estimate to disassemble those would be.
But that would come out of that million again next year,
That would come, yes,
if we move it this year.
that's right. Could do that. You can move another million maybe at that time.
And the reimbursement from FEMA, is that what we already have, or is that what we're planning on getting?
That's what we're planning on getting in addition to the 5.8 million that we got this past year.
Right.
Yes.
So ultimately, we're short 247 regardless, correct? At the
That's
end of
right.
the
So-
day, we're gonna get reimbursed.
Yeah, so those are estimates, so whatever this whole project ends up costing for the interim structures, FEMA will have reimbursed 75%, TEMA will have reimbursed 12.5%, and Tipton County School District has to obligate 12.5%.
Will we have spent the 1.7 though that FEMA's shared, will we spend that before they reimburse us? Is
So
it
we
reimbursed?
spend the money and then we
Yep.
send in a reimbursement request, yes.
So, motion, do we have a motion to approve this? Just move up, well, the motion was to approve the amendments. However, do we need a motion on the floor to do the amendments, or do we need another motion to move the million over?
So my recommendation, first of all, having you all know that, let's make the motion first to amend the budget by disaster response that
Okay.
shows that. And then if you all want to do the $1 million transfer from 142, I'll propose another amendment and I'll change this document to reflect that. Also bring in a 142 document, and we can do this at the start of the work session this month. Since you all already understand what it's like, I'll just show you the paperwork because the finance committee prefers that you see the document that they see. And so I wanna make sure that y'all see that before I carry it to them in December.
So, do you we can put this off till our meeting at the end of this month, or we can go ahead and make the motion now and go ahead and make the budget amendment, or we can put it off to our next meeting at last week of this month for our work session, which is, by the way, is gonna be scheduled. We got other things planned for that work session, so it's, kind of feeling here, if you wanna make that motion now, go ahead and make that a budget amendment, or if you want time to sit on it. We're not pressed to have to do that tonight at this point. We can move that and think about it, and whatever if someone makes a motion, we'll go from there.
Well, we wanna go ahead and do the whole thing, you wanna make a motion to move the whole thing now, or?
If you wanna make it, if you wanna make the motion for the budget amendment, you can if you want to, and then
Yeah, I'll make a motion, what do you recommend?
I would recommend doing the motion separately.
Okay.
So we'll end up with 3 total, 1 for the learning environment grant, 1 for disaster response, and then if you all decide, 1 for the movement of the money from fund balance to fund balance.
But that third one you could do at the work session.
Yes, that's right.
Correct.
So you can do the first
so
two
we
here,
can-
right?
Right,
And then the
so
third
we can
one.
make the budget amendment now if you want to, so if
Yes.
you wanna make a budget amendment, Ms. Eubanks makes a motion, budget amendment, Mr. Edwards second, so the budget amendment is that, as it is presented right now in this budget, right? So we show a hit to fund balance of $247,000. So do we have any discussion based on the motion?
We couldn't project that.
Could we project it? Yes, we could, but see, one of the reasons we didn't put this in the initial budget that came in first, if you noticed, if you've gone back and looked, you noticed we didn't put anything that was carryover in the budget initially. And, I mean, you're not required to do that. Some people prefer to do that, some prefer not to. For us, one of the reasons we didn't do this, and we discussed this in our work session when we built the 24 budget, because that was only the second year of TISA, and we were trying to get good projections. That was one of the reasons. The other reason was waiting on what insurance was gonna tell us, as far as money we paid and that type thing. And so you can do it either or. I mean, that's why we do limits all year on carryover.
I mean, that carryover, the whole purpose, that's kinda, it's not an every year type thing, that's why we.
Right, for the 142 in your grants, there's always carryover, the continuation of your entitlement grants. And those are typically handled in the month of October when you come in. And we typically bring the carryover in because it comes in at the penny at that time. Can we project it in the prior year budget? Remember, yes, we're submitting the March budget for next year, so yes, we can present projections, but they're going to change if we do that. Carryover, when you do it in October, you do know it to the penny.
I know we had some discussion about this already, and I don't think we talked about it. And so my suggestion would be to communicate that better if we wanted to. That's just a.
Future? Yeah, absolutely. I think going forward, kind of considering what we know now on some things and possibility as we do these work sessions, as we get closer to that budget, we'll have that discussion, how we want to present that, and to keep from certain slowdowns or hurdles, in the future, I think will help us, but we'll discuss that and we'll take your opinion as well. I mean, you're over this, you have to see it every day, so we want to listen to you, but we definitely want to, I think as we get to that budget, as we get to that, looking at next year's budget, we definitely want to, I think, like Mr. Gill said, look at this in a different way, possibly. I don't know. I don't want to speak for the board, but definitely take that into
As far
consideration.
as I'm concerned, to me, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Do we project it and then come in and amend it, or do we not project it and then we come in and amend it when we know the exact carryover? Either way, you all and the county commission is gonna have to amend the budget. And so I don't mind, to me, either way, it's the same amount of work, really.
I think where we're in this, trying to project what we will be able to cash flow and all of that, it's important for me anyway. I'm a numbers guy, and so like when I look at it, I had a number a couple of weeks ago that I thought we could cash flow, and now I'm going, is that really the number? And so that's helpful for me, when I stare at these all day long, just like you do.
Sure. That's a little bit.
If we move the million over, we'll move that under what line item will that move?
So you would do, if you do approve this amendment for disaster relief and that has passed, are we still in that discussion?
No, we're discussing,
Okay.
we're discussing that.
And so, excuse me, I got lost. a minute.
You're good,
So,
you're good.
So what we would do for the third amendment, if this one's approved, we would do an amendment to the 141 showing a transfer in of $1 million. And then we would do an amendment to the 142, school federal project showing a transfer out.
But that million goes to the bottom line on the fund balance, or is that transfer to
Depends on how you all want to, treat it. So if we show the million out of the 142, obviously it's gonna reduce that fund balance by $1 million, because you're gonna show no other, revenue to match for that. And then when it comes into 141, it's gonna come in as revenue as a transfer in. If we don't, budget it as an expenditure, it's gonna go straight to fund balance.
Okay. All right, well, so this motion's on the floor. Any other discussion with the motion for the budget amendment at this point? Any other questions? If not, all in favor of this budget amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None, that budget amendment passed.
So is this board's wish for me to go ahead and we'll make the motion on the million, or you wanna wait on that to the work session?
Wait, you wanna wait, or you wanna wait? Let's take that under advisement, and we'll move that to the work session. That'll be the first thing that we do at work session. Let's think about it, get with it, because I don't think that's gonna, change anything between now and the end of November, and, we'll get back to you on that. So, yep, look forward to that.
Could you provide us with just a synopsis? I've heard it in 5 minutes, and so I'm just trying to digest it and maybe email it to all of us.
As far as what it would look like?
Mhm.
Oh, you'll get an updated document for sure that you'll have in your folder to review for the work session meeting of how that's going to look.
Yeah,
And then you decide if you wanna make the vote or not.
So, yeah, I think it's wise for us, with that, for us to be able to take that and look at that. Gives us time to review it, and then I think we'll be ready.
Again, and like Mr. Billy said, we wanna make sure that y'all see the exact document that the finance committee will see. So we're singing off the same sheet of music there, so we appreciate that, Mr. Billy.
Yes, thank you.
If there's nothing else, the last thing I have, Mr. Chairman, is you'll see your revenue and expense report inside your folder as well that reflects the revenues and expenditures for all 4 funds currently. And just ask that those be spread on the minutes.
Thanks, sir.
That concludes my report, Mr. Chairman, unless there be any questions.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Bird?
In your online folders, I provided you a spreadsheet that has the number of EPSOs, which stands for early post-secondary opportunities that are being taken in each high school. I've also provided a chart that explains what those EPSOs are, if you have a question about what exactly it means. But these numbers will change throughout the year, especially as the second semester starts and students move from one class to another. But we wanted to make you aware of the opportunities that our students are being afforded. And you saw a lot of, well, not a lot, some of these things in our CTU tour back in September, but we hope to increase these numbers moving forward. But I wanted to give the board an update of where we are so far for 2024, 2025. Next, there's also a document in your folder that is an update on the strategic plan. Our annual agenda denotes that I was planning to review that in December, but Dr. Combs has asked that I go ahead and start reviewing by sections starting in November. So tonight I'm going to start with section 1 and just briefly give you an update of where we are. What I've done in the online document, it starts with our mission, vision, goals, and beliefs. This was updated by the previous board back in the spring of 2023 at our spring retreat that year. And at that time, they did tweak the mission, vision, goals, and beliefs. And this is how it currently stands for 23 through 28. So it's a 5-year plan. And I believe our plan will be to have a board retreat in the spring with you all and have an opportunity for you to make tweaks as well. But this is where we are as of now. So these are the things that we have currently either completed or in the process of doing. So some things don't necessarily have an ending date, but I just wanted to focus tonight on instructional programs, which is this first goal. Focus on students and staff. And I don't want to read all of them to you, but if there's one you have a question about that's highlighted, I'm happy to do that. Or if you want me to elaborate on any, you can all read, so I certainly don't want to just read the things that are highlighted. But if there's something that you have reviewed and thought, I'm not sure what that means, I'm happy to try to explain that to you if you would like me to do so at this point.
What does it mean when we say viable and rigorous curriculum?
Well, we are required to teach the Tennessee state standards.
Okay.
And so that's what we have adopted as our district because we have to legally teach those. And what we want to make sure is, as our teachers, when they plan their instruction, that we meet the rigor of the standards in every classroom. That's why we do a lot of collaborative planning or common planning, whichever word you prefer to use, so that when the teachers when they get together and plan a unit or a lesson, when you go in one class, it should look similar to the next third grade class. Sure. But I think the focus is on making sure our rigor meets the intent of the standard. So that is what it is. Thank you. You're welcome.
Can you explain on that very first one, Dr. Bird, administer eighth grade career inventory to all students. What does that look like? What is that?
So we, and that's actually required in our board policy, but we administer U Science, YOU Science. And that's a survey that that we do with all of our eighth graders. And there's something on there about 4 or 5 bullets down that says continue participation in Pathways to Possibilities. That is an event for eighth graders, and so it kind of goes hand in hand. They probably should be beside each other on this document, but those go hand in hand. That's every March we have, and it started, I want to think it started in about 2018, 19, something like that. It was prior to COVID, but then it stopped a year and then it picked back up. But it's a huge hands-on career experience, really. I don't want to call it an expo, it's really an experience. And we would encourage you, as we get a little bit closer, I'll let you know the dates and when our schools will be going, but every eighth grader in our schools have the opportunity to go and experience, and there will be, I don't even want to venture a guess as to how many companies will be there, but police, fire, it's technical and university path jobs, so it's both college and career, but very hands-on. The kids get to experience. I know one of the neat things that I'm always intrigued by is they have linemen there, and they're climbing like a pole. It's at a warehouse in Ripley. And they climb. It's just so interesting. But FedEx is there, the police, fire, very good opportunity for our eighth graders, and we'll continue that. The plan is to continue that again this year. That'll be in March, and I'll tell you more about it when it gets a little bit closer. Any other questions about just that first section?
I know it's not highlighted, Dr. Bird, but curious of the explore the theater arts as a part of dual enrollment offerings. What does that look like, or what's the plan there? I'm just curious as.
Working with the university to make it a dual enrollment class. I mean, we already offer it at Munford High School. I don't believe it's at the other 2 high schools, so sometimes that's just a staffing issue.
Right.
But yeah, offering it through a dual enrollment through a local university.
So they get an FSO course, so they'd be.
Correct.
Correct.
Yes, right now it's just a regular, ed class. It's not a dual enrollment or dual credit.
So like, something like Dyersburg State does not offer that, is that correct, or?
We have a partner with
Okay.
them that,
Okay.
I don't know that is it that they don't offer it, or we just have a partner with
I got you.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that's on our long-term plan to add.
Dr. Bird, I promise I was listening.
It's okay.
Y'all
Say it
developed this
again.
document, when did y'all develop this?
Spring of 2023, the board,
And there were stuff on here that y'all hadn't done yet, right? These are goals that you've accomplished.
right,
Y'all are killing it.
thank you. We have a long way to go, I think. Always looking to improve.
A lot of them highlighted.
Oh, no. So how long's this been going on for?
Well, which is why you all in the spring may want to tweak it a little bit so that we can, because we have, and just because it's highlighted doesn't mean it's over. It's like some of these things are ongoing, right? But we can certainly add some more things if that's the will of the board.
I have a question
Sure.
about the dual enrollment on that spreadsheet, looking at the numbers of enrollment.
Okay.
So I'm curious, when I was looking over this, Brighton and Munford have so many more classes, as opposed to Covington, I think, had 4, as dual enrollment. Do you, or maybe I didn't have my readers on.
Let me pull it up.
Let me open this up a little bit. But is that because I know that like Covington goes to Dyersburg State, Munford, their classes are on campus, right, and Brighton. So is it staffing is why there's more classes available?
Sometimes
on
it's
dual
just
there?
the availability of staff. So sometimes the teacher at the high school, the class is offered on their campus, on our campus,
Right.
with an instructor from a post-secondary institution or with one of our teachers. It can work either way. Or the students can go to so we have students who go to UT, the Ripley campus, UT Martin, but the Ripley campus. And of course, we have students who go right here to TCAT. We also have students who go to Dyersburg State. So it works both ways. But yes, there are some differences from school to school, but one of the interesting things, and I don't know that you all may not, I don't wanna insult your intelligence, of course, but if you're not familiar with, AP Access for All, so sometimes that can help with, if we don't have a teacher who, is teaching a certain AP class, students have a list of courses that they can take through another, through this, basically the Tennessee Department of Education, but through another institution, so that they offer it. Our students can take it online and still get the AP credit, even though we may not be able to teach it on our campus. Like, we don't have someone certified to teach it, or there's just not enough room in the schedule to offer that. So that's a really neat thing about AP Access for All. Yeah.
Does that count towards their hours or their?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know.
Any other questions about either of those two things? Okay. The last thing I had was policy review. Last month, I asked you to look at the first part of section 4, the instructional section of the policy manual. I didn't receive any questions, and that's okay. If you didn't have a chance to review it and you still want to send them to me, I'm happy to answer those. But next month, we'll look at the second part. So from 4.400 to 4.805. So that's basically just the second half of section 4 of the policy manual. I'm happy to answer those questions via email or at the next board meeting. And that's all I have to share unless somebody has
Any
an
questions?
additional question.
Thank you, Ms. Byrne.
Thank you.
Mr. Fields.
Good afternoon again. I actually only have one item to discuss. I want to respond to the letter that Mr. Gray read at our last meeting regarding AEDs. I did get the opportunity, actually, me, Sherry, and Mark McLean, Sherry, the school coordinator, school health coordinator, and Mark McLean is the AD with me. So after researching, Miss Sherry had been trying to meet with Dynamics since the beginning of the football season after an AED was not returned after a game at Covington High School. So she's been trying to meet with that group for a while. Another thing to note is we have always been in compliance with the Tennessee AED statutes and regulations, so we were never out of compliance. For the record, every high school has 3 AEDs. Mumford High School purchased one for their trainer. Every middle school has 2 AEDs, and every elementary has 1. We have ordered 5 more for the high schools, 2 for the other 2 trainers, and 3, I believe, for each press box at every high school. So that's the update. So the other 2 trainers will be getting theirs, I think as early as next week.
You said 5 more?
5 more, yes, sir.
And I think we're talking about either concession stand or press box, one of those 2. So they'd be, a lot of sports are on those fields, so that'll be quick access for a lot of them.
Not specifically to the trainer?
Well, the trainer will get one.
The trainer will get one too.
We're ordering 5 more, 3 for each high school for the press boxes, and 2 for the Covington High School trainer and the Brighton High School trainer.
And I'm 100% for it, but I wanna make sure, I'm a licensed healthcare guy.
Okay.
But my question is the liabilities for them using that as a tool for them, right?
Mhm.
We're providing them with a tool, are there any liabilities there between us and them? It's not, they're not a lay person, they're a licensed professional as well, and we're
Correct.
giving them a tool.
Yeah,
And
the
so that,
liability falls with them.
Yeah, well, and
maybe
we're,
that's something we write into their.
right, and I would like to make, this is a recommendation for later on, not right now, but when we re-up, when we put out bids again, Dynamics is the group we use right now. That is definitely something that we wanna reword when we put that bid out, that either they are responsible for providing their own devices of that sort, or what you're talking about, that liability piece, is included in that piece, because right now it's not written that way. So we need to update that document when we, do this again for the next go around, that it includes either you provide those devices, you know, meaning Dynamics or whoever would provide those devices for their personnel to use, or you use our device with these specifications or liability pieces to know. So I think that's a good point. Yeah, absolutely.
And those 5 AEDs, they cost like, it was like $8,300. So,
Right. And I think Sherry looked for the ones for the trainers to use. Wasn't she looking for one specific that's maybe a little smaller and a little more mobile than the one that we
Yes.
have? Yeah, so that
Well,
might.
she was looking for the one that, the trainer was using at Mumford High School.
Okay.
It's pretty,
And
I
the-
asked her about it one night, I was at a football game and was talking to her about it, and it's pretty nice unit.
Cool.
But the trainers had them, so it wasn't like they didn't have one. I know that Covington's trainer had one he was using.
Yeah, they always had one.
Yeah, they always had one, so I think that was some.
They just didn't return it a couple times.
See, that's where the liability part.
Right. Well, and if they have their own with them, they don't have to
There you go.
borrow the one that's, you know, supposed to stay where it's located.
The only other caveat, because that was at the end of the meeting last time, working with our local jurisdictions, the trainer, it's great for them to use, but ultimately, when that gentleman over there shows up in his big red truck and the equipment that they bring, they can unplug, and it needs to be compatible with their equipment too. So they'll actually unplug the AED, set it to the side, and then hook it into a 12 lead. They can use those paddles and everything that are still there. So that's another little small caveat.
She told me that this one actually sends, once she gets it attached, it sends information to whatever hospital or wherever they're going.
Well, I think it contacts 911.
Yeah.
I
If
think.
I'm not mistaken, she said AED.
AED,
I think.
But we told them to call anyway, in case it didn't. So, I wanna congratulate Brighton Middle School football. They won the West Tennessee State Championship this year. Mr. Larry, all 3 of our high school football teams made the playoffs. And that's kinda unheard of for a district our size, so I congratulate them. Covington will move on and play Friday night against Oliver Central, I think. All right, any questions for me?
No, I don't have any. Mr. Gray, do you have any? May not be able to speak. All right, now, I just wanna make sure since he was kind of.
Dr. Combs, Mr. Chair, if you all don't mind, if I can be excused, I'm gonna go try to catch a little Brighton Middle and
Yes, sir.
Crestview.
Go do your job,
Thank you.
man.
Pretty big problem.
Thank you, Mr. Bills, we appreciate it.
Thanks, James.
One quick order of business, 141, budget revisions, 141 and 142 have been uploaded into your files, so something to review for next time. So they're in your files, and we'll pick that back up at the end of the month, okay? So take a look at that. Yes,
Where are we posting those dates and stuff?
as far as the final work sessions, like
When we're doing it?
when we're doing them?
Because we're getting into the holidays, I need to.
Yeah, we have a list.
There was a list.
It is a
I
list.
thought that up.
Let's,
Can we resend it?
yes, we'll get that resent out. That's a good idea.
Miss Renee will resend that to those of you who lost your list.
You need to get that in your calendar.
We will not meet in December, by the way, as far as work session. We will have a board meeting, but we will not have a work session meeting, because that kind of gets into the Christmas time period and stuff like that, so we'll take that month off, and then we'll hit the ground running come to January, okay? So, we'll have one more work session in November. And I think that time's gonna change too, so just be prepared for, we're gonna push that up to 6 o'clock, I think, on that, or maybe 5, probably 5, yeah, 5 o'clock.
And
work session.
I think the work session for November is a little funky, right? It's Monday.
It's the Monday, yeah, it's
Monday?
It's the 25th Monday.
correct.
For, November 25th, yeah, is a Monday. That's when the work session is, but after that, it'll go to its regularly scheduled well after December.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. We were trying to get ahead of the Thanksgiving stuff.
Yeah, kind of a hard week there, but yeah, that Monday, the 25th, meet 5 o'clock, and that'll be our work session. Mr. Bennett?
Good evening, everyone. How are you
I say we're saving the best for last, and mine's a little bit more fun than finances, though we do talk about money, but we get to talk about all the fun construction stuff that's going on. So, I'm gonna start off with something that is, I know, important and to all of you guys, and that's gonna be something that we have that involves what's called a project request form. So when someone at the school wants something done that's not just a general maintenance of some sort, they put in a project request form, and that can come from, it covers anything that's outside of normal, maintenance. So what happens is they fill out a form, send it up, it goes through the process without getting the proper signatures and how it's gonna get funded. And then we have these booster clubs. We all have our ones that wanna do extras, and we wanna support them, and we want them to get everything that they want in a timely manner. But we have to clarify, who's going to be responsible for funding it, and then who's going to maintain the upkeep of those, because they're deciding to do something that you guys will be privy to the information, but since they've got the funds and we want them to do it, but the responsibility, the financial obligations to it will continue to be theirs in the future. So, the board, we've got one that's just come to us, and we just wanna take it through the proper steps and give us a chance just so you guys could understand these booster clubs and their request, and they can get sizable in funds. This one isn't a huge expense, but it's a sizable, amount of dollars here that, Mumford High School's baseball booster club has requested to put, new HVAC in their baseball building that you guys, previous you guys had approved, and so they've got a very nice building that's they're training in, and they wanted HVAC. So they have requested, and they've done the proper steps. They filled out the project request forms, they gathered the prices that were necessary, and we needed to make sure that though they are funding it, correct me if I'm wrong, Billy, they still have to follow the procurement process that we do.
That's
as far as if it's over 25,000, it has to go to public bid. Under 25,000, multiple prices have to be, provided. So, we just need to make sure that our aggressive booster clubs just don't get too excited and don't, miss out, and then we have to find ourselves answering for things that we didn't approve. So, just for your information, the booster club at, Mumford High School's, baseball has planned to put HVAC. They are Infinity Heating and Air. We'll be doing the heating and air there. That's gonna be a $20,000 upgrade, and then, Haley Electric will be doing the electrical upgrade to be able to support the, additional, HVAC, and that's $3,826. So, that's really more for just information. It's not really something for you to vote on unless you said, no, I'm against it, then we can discuss it. But they've got the funds, they've got it lined up, they're eager and excited about getting it done. We just wanted you guys to understand that as your booster clubs, because each one of you represent a different area, as your booster clubs come to you with these requests, just to understand how that works. If they wanna put something up, they will do, where's it come, who's funding it, and then who's gonna maintain it. So we don't find ourselves in the future with a $20,000, $30,000 repair bill or maintenance bill that, wasn't approved for, financially for us in the future,
So if I can, two things real quick. So number one, I wanna make sure I'm real clear on this. Mumford has been great. I mean, we sent some stuff back to them, and they adjusted, sent it back. They've done a great job. They've done everything we've asked them to do. So this thing's ready to rock. We just wanted you to see part of this, especially with it being a big number, right? Number two is when Hunter came on board, we enacted this project request process a little more, what was the word, we asked it rigorous, let's see, with rigor, than we had before, because there have been some missteps in the past with things added to campuses and added onto buildings and other areas, in some cases that we didn't even know about. Mm-hmm. And so then we'll get a call like, hey Hunter, I need you guys to come out and fix this. What are you talking about? I didn't even know that was there. So things that were added by entities other than us. So the project request makes sure that we're all on the same page, just like Hunter explained it very well, by the way. But he's been very meticulous about making sure that process is followed all the way across the board. So thank you for doing that. And I think y'all see as we go through this, everything needs to be documented and make sure everybody's doing the same thing that's above board. So this was a good example just to share with y'all and make sure that, these are the kind of things moving forward. Since 6 of you are new to this, we want to make sure that everybody understood that process and had the opportunity to ask any questions that you had.
How are those documents going to be like capped? So like the next person can say, oh, well, wait a minute, you know, go back and track this, see who paid for it. How
Correct.
is that?
Well, that's the purpose of them, so they'll be put into a file from Mumford High School, and then in the future, now as far as how do we do a quick search to see who looked that up, or who paid for that? I mean, that's, I guess, something we need to dive in deeper, but as far as us filing a hard copy from Mumford High School project
Right now, it's
request
just
forms,
on paper.
it just gives us an opportunity to be able to go back and say, hold on, you know, say they had, let's say that Coach Young took a job at LSU, and he, you know, the next thing you know, you get a new coach in. I can say, well, Coach Young, your previous coach, this was what they requested, and that HVAC maintenance is going to be a responsibility of your booster club, so.
And we scan those in too, so they can all be scanned into OneDrive, and we have access to all of them electronically.
So it will start scanning into OneDrive.
Yep.
And another thing too, this form that Hunter came up with is great because it helps us adhere to the law. So we'll put in our inventory system, our asset systems, because anything that's over our threshold, we have to record on assets regardless who buys it. Because once it comes a part of the property, it's the responsibility to insure it and to maintain it for the future. And so we have to put those things on assets, which is why we have to know about them, and which is why this form that he's created is so helpful, because it checks all those boxes for us.
And it also helps clear up a lot of gray area of responsibilities. And it's not to put a damper or hinder anybody, and I understand, I grew up in the sports world. I mean, nobody's more excited about doing something than someone's dad who thinks little Johnny's gonna be the next MLB shortstop. I get it, we want them to give all the money, come on. But we have to take the proper steps to make sure that we do document it, so. Sorry to bore you with that this evening, but just wanted to give you some updates on how that's handled.
Just one small question. Did we this is on the other side, did we verify through their minutes that this was the will of the board at the time? To spend their $20,000 on that board? I'd hate to okay it and then later on down the road where the board's like, we didn't approve that, or the board members, or.
You talking about from the Booster Club?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, we're really
if I may
not
speak to
approving
that.
No, not us approving
If I may
it,
speak
the
to
Booster
that.
Club board.
Yeah, so when this project request form is done, the booster clubs have to report to the principal. The principal has access to their meeting minutes, their bank statements, they're supposed to be, they're required to be monitoring that. We don't do that at district level, now we have the authority to ask for it if we want to. But the assumption is because the policy represents school support organizations are monitored by the principals once they're board approved. And so I think on this particular form, the SSO person signed it along with the school principal.
Correct.
So you've got that acknowledgement there, there's an understanding where it should be, is that responsibility is there. That's a great question though, because it may be one we need to present, or maybe put a box, is it in the minutes?
Well, and it goes through about 5 different signatures. I mean, you know, I have the final signature on it. You know, Billy sees it, of course, Hunter sees it, and the principal initiates it, you know, beyond that part. So, yeah, it's very well documented, and they know.
I just know that booster clubs can be a lot of fun, so.
And they can, and we want them to be fun. We know, we also want to make sure that we're protected and that you guys understand, you know, just how that process flows.
Ms. Reed, you got a question?
What if they don't have a booster club and there's like needs compared to the fencing? Who does that fall in? Like,
They can submit a project request, right? And we look at it, and if it's something that we can help with, we will. Or we can say, hey, you know, can you raise money to get this covered or whatever, and then we do that. But the project request starts everything. So we can see, and in some cases, we may say, yeah, we might be able to find that, you know, and put it before y'all in the capital projects budget, or look at this, or look at that. But it all goes through that process to determine whether or not we can do that. Yeah, because sometimes, you know, folks will be like, well, we'd like to have this. Well, we do have 3 high schools.
right.
So, you know, in most cases, you get what you need, right? If all the kids don't need braces, then you don't pay for braces for all of them. But at the same time, if something's an issue and they just want, well, we want this to look good, well, the other 2 high schools would probably like to have that too. So, you know, you kind of have, the project request initiates all of it. It's kind of the catalyst.
I just wondered, not having a booster club, like, who would take care of that?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, good question.
How about, utilities? Does that go back to school, like on that HVAC, it's gonna pull, it's gonna pull electrical costs, that comes back to the district?
Yes.
So does
We
that
pay it.
change, so we pay the, okay. So does that gotta go back into budgeting next year? I mean, that's probably small potatoes comparatively, but, you know, someone leaves the air conditioner on for all summer, I mean,
You get
she's
3 or
expensive.
4 of them in some of these kind of buildings, you can get some,
That's
some
right.
bills.
Okay, interesting,
Good question.
interesting.
I mean, because it doesn't just stop at the install.
Yeah, no, but if it goes out in 10 years and they have to replace it, is that correct? No, district, you pay,
If it becomes district property, if you could give that TV to the district and it's ours, and if it tears up, then it's our responsibility. Now, the booster club can still support it, if that's their function.
okay.
But see, the project request, Blake, because that's a good question. The project request form allows for them to specify who's responsible
That's
for
right.
maintaining this. And before we approve, we say, yeah, we understand that, or no, we're agreeing that they're gonna be responsible for it. The other thing is we request is a warning. You know, the other thing is a lot of times in the past, booster clubs would just buy stuff and then send something to Hunter's team and say, hey, y'all install this. Nope, we don't do that. I mean, here's the deal, if you're gonna fundraise to get this HVAC, then who's gonna install it? What kind of warranties with it? How, are you gonna come back and also maintain it? Are you gonna, I mean, there's a lot to that, like I said, that has been added to that project request to make sure that, you know, something's not just left there and we have all these things laying around that's our responsibility now to install that we didn't even buy. So, you know, we're making sure
We don't
that.
approve a boat, is what he's saying.
Just saying.
All right, well, it's good to know, it's good, thank you for bringing that up.
And I'm sure there are gonna be other,
Yeah, no, it's good discussion.
conversations to be had about it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have more booster clubs that are gonna want more stuff, so we'll revisit this more.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett.
I'll touch on another one before I get into the construction update, but I do wanted to take a chance to go through, our current, capital improvement projects, just to kind of let you guys know where some of this stuff currently stands. What you'll notice as we go through here, what's labeled in yellow is scheduled, what's in green has been completed, and what, as we get through, there's a few that are still waiting on bid, so. I won't bore you, I'm just gonna kind of snap through here. On this particular one, you'll notice that the pothole, patch has been done, hasn't been done before the striping. However, he went and striped this one and knows where his striping will have to be redone. He just wanted to get one done, and that area, he said, Hunter, I can go knock it out. I'm like, not, go for it, so. All right now, Dr. Bird, you hand me a page on, page down.
Space down.
Hit internet one.
Sometimes you gotta smack.
We need some virtual reality.
Sometimes.
Hey, and let me say this while he's getting ready to advance here. Remember, this has already been approved. This is the 2 million that was placed in the capital projects budget from last year's budget. We're just giving a rundown of how that has been spent thus far. Okay, so there's nothing that, we're just giving you a rundown of what's been clicked off so far and what's still in process.
At Atoka, we still have, as far as our capital improvements, we, still got a 6 parking lot stripe. At Austin P, we've got floor renovations that still have to be put out to bid. We'll be putting that out to bid right after the first of the year. We're looking to do that possibly around spring break and then the beginning of the summer. You know, that's a big one that takes quite a bit of time. You got a playground upgrade there. Then we've got the pothole patch and restriping the parking lot. Right now, that one's gonna be a big one, and boy, will it make a difference on that campus when we get that one sealed and patched and striped. Feel like an HGT to hit Brighton Elementary whenever that happened. Charger Academy, we actually, with the POs for the HVAC units here, those were actually generated. We got current numbers here just 2 days ago. We put them in for PO approvals actually earlier today, so that one should hopefully, we're hoping those get installed before Christmas. That one's been a hard one to nail down. Covington Elementary, you'll see there, it's scheduled. It's in progress. Drummond's, if anybody's been around Drummond's lately, I mean, they have been very grateful and appreciative for their parking lot. And it is a big deal. It's really helped the flow of traffic in that community for sure. Mumford Elementary. And their bleacher repair did get completed yesterday. Brighton Middle. And the pothole and the striping, Climber Paving has the pothole paving, they're scheduled to be back on site December the 2nd. So we're supposed to have it in that week, so our next meeting, those would all be green, and hopefully first week of December, those will be over with. Okay, in the middle, moving right along. If you haven't been by Mumford Middle and checked out a set of new bleachers, it's worth your stop. It's pretty cool to see what, a new set of bleachers, how they function and how they're all intact. It's been a nice one.
Hey, Hunter, just for the sake of everyone listening online and everywhere else, how much do those bleachers cost at Mumford Middle School?
$254,378.
So that's why that has to be added to capital projects as we go, and you can't just replace them all in one fell swoop. We're starting with the ones that are in the worst shape.
Right.
And working our way backwards, just like, cafeteria tables, same thing, right? So, yeah, those bad boys are expensive, but we did go ahead and repair.
We did.
All the rest of them.
You'll
while we're
see through
waiting.
here, bleacher repair, and that was from safety. The bleacher company came out, they do a safety inspection.
I was fixing to ask that.
And
And
so-
they'll have to have it done.
That's correct, so that has to be done, and so we made sure that we captured all of the safety requirements, and there were some code upgrades that they went ahead and implemented, but the repair at, Mumford Middle was large, and so we thought, let's just go ahead and start there and get a new fresh set on and get it really exciting, and then, again, we'll continue to replace those as you guys, continue to approve budgets.
Now, were those, I'm sorry, were
Go
those
ahead.
wood? Are they wood?
The
or
old ones
synthetic?
were.
The old ones were wood, these are not wood, these are gonna be a hard plastic, and they're pretty nice.
Last a while.
And when they've got a big M that's in them, when they're with the color of the
Really?
seats. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Brighton High. The tennis court surfacing here, that's one, I actually spoke with Coach Croson today about that one, just because that one's kind of in their court. Michelle Collins, who's Michelle Collins, she's very involved with the tennis court, with the tennis team there. She's applied for a grant for additional funds so this 20,000 would be added to, what it is that she's able to, and that grant's hopefully going to be awarded right after the first of the year. So this won't sit there, dormant for us until that grant's captured, and then I think it's 15,000 maybe that she's after, so she'll have a $35,000, upgrade there. Covington High. We had the softball, field and some stuff, so the insurance hopefully is gonna do more than we
Is the
want.
softball field getting built back in the same spot, or is it moving out to the complex?
No, it's gonna be on the same campus that it was. That was really to capture the maximum amount of insurance funds.
okay.
It really, as you guys are aware, that just cleans the waters up on
Yep.
what we get and,
Yep.
get into what you had, what you didn't have, you moved it.
Yep.
Mumford High. Their softball field's coming along nicely. It is, it's gonna be a cool spot. Reagan's very excited.
It's in the same spot as well.
But
It
a
is
lot
in
of
the
beating
same
and
spot.
banging going on over there,
Mm.
right behind my house.
So on
Central office,
the pothole repair, we're subbing that out, or
that's Climber Paving that's actually doing all those pothole repairs. They'll come in, cut out, and then put back there.
Is this potholes or is this a large area?
That's what I was
Come
going
with the asphalt.
Some of them
Material.
are potholes, some of them are large spots, half, big as the area you guys are sitting in.
Okay.
So,
Question, I was looking at I was adding in my head, I'm not gonna, but, we're getting pretty close where we could get our own equipment, and I was thinking of potholes.
Well, there are some that are about the size of this desk I'm sitting at, there's some that are half the size of this room.
Okay.
There's some that are sizable. You guys wanna entertain, or piece
How
of
long would
equipment.
how long has it been since we did it?
Easy on her.
I can't tell you the last time they.
A long time. Hunter, you want some?
Hey, I will say this group, what, 2 years ago, Matt, Loretta, Jason, 2-3 years ago, y'all approved in the capital prop for us to get a Mini X,
Yep.
2 skid steers, and I'm telling you, those things have paid for themselves already.
Oh, wow.
I mean, cause you don't have to rent that stuff out, we have guys that can drive them, and man, we do a ton of our own work now with those things, like to kind of tag on what you were saying, those things are phenomenal. I mean, they've been great. Some dump trailers, that came in it, those have come in, we've hauled so much junk, and then with the tornado stuff, man, we use our equipment to start moving stuff around down there, it's been
You
really
have a
nice.
wish list?
Yeah, I got a wish list.
Y'all encouraging him, what in the world? Blake, Billy made a motion, I hate to not say this.
Billy said we can move $1 million.
We'll come back for a motion later.
Man, I'll tell you what, we'll get you some virtual reality glasses. You go asphalt all year, repair all day, that's
Half a new maintenance staff. At the same time, some of them are gonna go for first. Guys, this here just lets you know what we have actually spent. What was in yellow clearly is not in here, so next week, whenever, the bleacher repairs will be completed. I mean, so that number would go up, significantly, but we'll keep you posted on this, but just wanna let you guys kinda understand where some of our capital improvement projects are, that were, from last year's, and we're actively working on those, so. It's a lot of projects, and the more you guys, learn about Dr. Combs, you'll learn this list probably won't get any shorter. So the request probably, I don't know, I'll let him discuss the dollars with you guys when that time comes, but he doesn't sit well. He gets bored easy. So, now, you will look on, I think Miss Renee made a folder in that I've got my name attached to it. You will see something that looks like this.
Yep.
So this keynote, this key plan, what this will do is this will keep the construction notes as they feed them to myself, to keep you guys in line with how they're communicating that with the team in the field. And with the way that we're currently working is you drive by and you see the large wall, this is the middle school gymnasium, that will be area J. So we are currently working from J, H, G, we're kind of working backwards, if you would, on the alphabetical side of that. If you look, you'll see some photos in there as well. That'll kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at, and where that all comes into play. So you'll see that one of the parking lots appears to be paved. That's the binder. That's just your base coat to allow them to be able to work through and be able to mobilize for days like what we've recently had. You get 2.5 inches of rain in a day. You don't completely, pump the brakes and wonder how you're gonna get steel on site. You still can be able to mobilize. So I do have an update here that I'll read to you that came from I was at the construction meeting this morning, and these are some of the notes that Mr. Ron Spleen with Linkus, who's the senior project manager there. Guys, we're blessed to have this gentleman on site. He's a wealth of knowledge. I think it's his 31st school to build. So, I mean, he's done a bit of this, and he's got a great team. But, so they started laying the joist in the middle school gym. I'm sorry I don't have a photo for you, but I'll get you one soon, of the joists that are being installed. The block work is 90% complete in H. The block is 95% in J. Block work is started in G and F. The binder is down in the west elevation, on the west side of the campus, and that was the parking lot that I just mentioned. If you drive by, it looks paved. The curbs are in on the west elevation. The underground fire protection continues in the east parking lot. The soil cement is set for next week in the east parking lot. Curb on the south drive will be poured Monday. They will be pouring 15,000 square feet of area G tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. If anybody wants to come out and drink coffee and watch that. They'll be pouring the rest of G next Wednesday. And part of F, and part of Area F. Of course, he mentions, the rain clearly doesn't do us any favors, so it's a small setback. However, they do plan to get caught back up on the footings. That was what was, I guess, the delay there was more so, cause you're digging low grade, creating a pond. But they're planning to start back on the footings, on Monday. So, guys, it's pretty exciting to be able to go watch something of this size, and watch this crew and be really, and them to give us just to sit right there with them and not feel as if you're in their way, and they encourage that, to be there so we know, so I can come back and give you guys what's going on. And, if you guys have questions, don't hesitate, send them to me in email. But it's a fun experience, and guys, the commitment here for our community is pretty strong. So, do you have any questions about the construction at the moment?
Y'all get to go see the video A2H had?
I did.
I did.
That video, we need that running on a basket. I was proud to say I saw Covington on two different events up there. Where modular schools, about it. Yeah,
they were usually at the convention.
Yeah, and then A2H, and that video of the school to come is, it's like I say, virtual reality. You look like you're actually physically walking right into the front door of this thing going down the hall. And it looks so real, if we could get that, people could really see all that. That's what we're getting, that's what's coming.
Right.
I think it's actually on our website, I believe,
Yes, it
too.
is.
I think that same video, Jason,
Scroll down
I think
to
for
the
those
bottom.
that are listening is, if you scroll down to the bottom of the Tipton County Schools website, I think it's there. A version of it, I think. I don't know if it's the same one, but I do know I've seen that before, that 3D, that virtual model. So, yeah, I agree, Mr. Jenkins, it's excellent. So, looking forward to that. And actually, we're in discussion, Dr. Combs and I are in discussion with A2H, and depending on the time frame and how the exterior looks, by August, I think, is when we gotta have submission in. We're gonna look to, this year when we were in the convention, every year they do the design of the year, the school of the year. I think we're gonna try to put in for that and be a part of that. So hopefully, it'll look good and we can walk across the. Oh, did you? Okay, well, we need you to judge this next year too.
I don't think they'll ask me to do that.
Okay. So, thank you, Mr. Bennett. We appreciate it. Any other questions?
Guys?
So you're gonna be about 50% on the foundation next week? Is that what it is? So they're rolling that on. And then, the only other one I was gonna ask, any supply chain, as everybody's favorite
We've
excuse.
got the rooftop unit sitting on site.
Awesome.
I mean,
Some AC units already sitting out there.
do what now?
I saw some AC units sitting out
Yes,
there.
they're sitting on site, the sequence, and I'm gonna pull from memory from this morning. Sequence one of the steel is on site and actually going up. The second sequence of steel arrives November the 21st, and the third sequence of steel arrives the December the 9th. I mean, so, again, the commitment that these guys are, whether it's just the guys on the field or the ones fabricating that we never even see. I mean, it's pretty impressive, that how they're hitting these deadlines.
Awesome.
I hate to pray for dry weather, but.
Yeah, we've kind of rolled the dice for quite some time, so we're getting kind of in that time frame. But they'll work through, once they get everything, if they get the footings in, they get the concrete out of the ground, they'll be good. So, looking forward to a big pour tomorrow, so hopefully everything goes well.
And I'll send you guys some footage. I do plan to be there in the morning.
I have one of the students that coming in high said, you'll get to see some footage probably, cause the high school, the drone class.
That's right.
They go out.
And I apologize that I don't have drone footage. I didn't get the drone footage from them, but the Covington High School will be, they will be going out. JJ and his class will be going out flying the drone. And,
Yeah, I know Christopher Smith said, I did some of that.
Yeah, our kids are.
Well, thank you to Covington High for doing that.
So it's cool.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you, Hunter.
Dr. Combs?
Yeah, I just want to add something for y'all's consideration. So the chairman and I have been discussing the addition of a policy committee. which would consist of 3 board members, and it would be facilitated by Dr. Byrd. I mean, as you know, Dr. Byrd presents the policy to you, we go through TSBA and look at that. But 3 board members. This group would be advisory only, and they would report, they would have their meeting just prior to the regularly scheduled board meetings, and that would of course be advertised just like we do the other ones. No voting, it's advisory only, and then they would report to this group immediately following their meeting prior. And I would like to suggest that Chairman Schenkel, Board Member McCann, and Board Member Lavelle be the 3 board representatives on that committee, on that policy committee. And basically, number 1, it would allow, as many in-depth questions as needed, and it might streamline the policy process. As you know, that can get a little bit deep. And they would just advise y'all and say, hey, here's what we did in this meeting. What do y'all think about this? It still allows anyone to pull anything out, look at anything, or anything you want to do, but it does allow kind of a group to see that on the front end. So that, I'd just like to suggest that, Chairman Schenkel, for the group, if y'all would, be up to that as we discussed.
Absolutely. Any discussion on that, or do we wanna, it's gotta come in the form of a motion, you think, or do we have to, how do we?
I mean,
do we just-
I would just to do it.
Yeah,
Just
establish it.
I don't think you need to, but I think it'd be good just to do it, so the
Yeah.
groups and,
Let's-
yeah.
Since you're being voted for, I'll make a motion.
Thank
that-
Good. Second by Mr. Jenkins. Any discussion? No discussion? You wanna lead it, Mr. Gill? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? All right, the policy committee, so we'll, be in discussion with that. I think I joined Dr. Combs and the discussions that I've had with, other chairs, the discussions that we had this past week at the convention. I think that's one of the things that I'm seeing consistently over, and I think that'll, because that's one of our duties, right? We have 3 duties, and one of that is to establish policy. So it is an important piece of what we do, and so it just gives us a little bit more time to be able to review that and stuff. And so again, just advisory only with that committee. We'll meet, we'll look. It's good to have Mr. Lavelle in there, because what's going to happen is since he's our liaison to the government, or legislative, he'll be able to hopefully bring, what he sees from the policy side up on the state and federal, and help us be able to understand a little bit more of it. So, not to put any pressure on you.
Lot going on
Yeah,
there,
it
too.
is, and we have a really good person with the TSBA that we know very well that's a part of that. So he does a really good job. I think that's gonna help us. Anyway, thank y'all. I'm glad we're able to get that policy committee going, so that's really good.
I appreciate that, thank
Yes,
y'all.
thank you.
I think that'll be nice, streamline, more in depth, I like that,
Yep.
that'd be really cool. That's really all I have. I just wanted to say, for all of you who were at TSBA, that was great, we missed you. I know we had other things, but it was a good, I appreciated the camaraderie and y'all being able to go to different sessions, and there was a lot there, so, that was great, thank y'all.
I will say, can you make mention of just, so we can put it on our calendar since we, the board retreat, can we get that, can you let them know
Yes,
about the?
March the 7th. So March the 7th is a Friday. We have secured a location at Freed-Hardeman University. They're gonna give us a big room and then a number of other rooms to break out into if that is needed. They're gonna cater the event, all that kind of stuff. Since we know an alum of Freed-Hardeman, they're not even having us pay for using the facility. So, but that'll be a nice, about an hour and a half drive, right? So, right now we're looking at probably like 9 to 3, something like that. So that gives everybody plenty of travel time, there and back. And, doesn't make for what could be a really long day. That kind of keeps it a little more tight. So please go ahead and put that on your calendars. I appreciate you bringing that up. And remember, a big part of that's gonna be, there will be some of us there to facilitate that. The plan is that Ms. Renee will be there, Dr. Byrd will be there, Mr. Billy will be there, Hunter will be there, and I'll be there. So we'll help facilitate that. As you know, Dr. Byrd is kind of the facilitator of the strategic planning process, but it's mainly just kind of get everything on paper. And remember, the plan is for y'all to create the overarching, this is what we want to see. And then that comes back to our team, and we'll start going through and putting individual stuff in there, action steps in there, and then we present that again. Dr. Byrd presents that again to y'all for your approval, and then we move forward like that on it until you finally, decide to adopt the full strategic plan. So, it'll be a good day. You'll be able to revise what we already have, add to if you need to, but it'll be there. Those are all gonna be probably key players in what y'all decide to do. That's why they're coming. So anyway, should be good.
Yeah, so one of the reasons doing that is not only planning, but also is as we wore those Board of Distinction ribbons this past week and stuff, part of that Board of Distinction is that we have a board retreat. There's numerous things. In fact, Dr. Combs has got it on his board of what we've met already to meet that Board of Distinction. There's several other things we have to check off. I think in your packet, I don't think I'm the only one, but in your packet is you get to go level 1, level 2. We saw those pins. I think, are you level 2? Yeah, we have several that are level 2s and stuff, then as you can see everything, your training, your experience and stuff, that all adds up to those levels. And part of that Board of Distinction is I think it's 3 people have to be a level 2. I think is part of that. So ultimately, we encourage all of us to be level 2, level 3 and stuff, But anyway, that's part of the Board of Distinction. There's several other criteria as well. If you've got any questions on what that looks like, Dr. Combs should be able to help you out with that, okay? Any other questions or anything, comments? Yes, Mr. Gill.
Did Mr. Nay take care of all the travel plans?
For what?
TSBA conference?
Yes.
Thank you.
She was, let me say, how do I put it? She was helpful, but she was also back to where she didn't have to wait on stuff. So yeah, she was like, yeah, hey, here you go. And so that helps a ton. So yeah, she's awesome.
Yep, thank you, Mr. Thank you, appreciate your help.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Any other questions, comments, concerns, snarks? If not, we got a motion to adjourn. Mr. Edwards, motion, second by Mr. Jenkins. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Y'all have a meeting is adjourned. Y'all have a great evening.
Thanks, y'all.